I think the priority for the blue economy has to be inclusive. That is, to make sure that we achieve the environmental, social and developmental goals.
Well, I think the way to unlock the potential for the blue economy in Africa is for states to have very clear plans for implementing it nationally. And those plans need to be developed through stakeholder consultation. For most African countries, there are two clear areas for prioritisation. One is the development of energy resources offshore, and the other is the management of fisheries.
I think the priorities in Africa, first for the state to create the investment policies that are needed to attract investment into the blue economy. So for example, giving priority to companies and states, local governments that are looking to improve blue economy opportunities. Second is to create the missing markets, because in the blue economy some of the reasons why we don't get investment is because the markets are missing. I think the third one is incentives to companies that are investing in the blue economy, whether it's giving them an advantage in terms of information access, providing them with opportunities that can allow them to aggregate across small and medium enterprises, for cooperatives and other solutions, but also giving foreign investors opportunities to work effectively with local entrepreneurs to build the opportunity space. And then finally, I think states need to invest in the skills and competencies.
I think one of the things that we must do first, and I think for Africa, because it's such a huge landmass, that we sometimes underappreciate how much is our ocean space, sort of the African maritime space. And if we refocus our perception of development and our perception of where we can strategically invest, that would be a huge start. For somebody from the Seychelles, of course, fisheries and tourism are very high priority.
There's already a lot going on. If you look at fisheries and the reliance on fisheries and aquaculture of local communities, I think it is important to develop these local communities and their approach to fisheries. We've seen examples at this conference where local communities manage the resources in a good way, and where it is the local communities that manage the resources, it is going well, contrary to if they are not involved and they see it as something that happens out of the blue. Well, blue. And the other aspect I would say is to look at all the different sectors that are involved, not just, for example, fisheries and transport separate, but to look at how they can work together, how you can find synergies.
Africa has been tapping into the blue economy for a very long time. The coastlines of Africa are host to many communities who survive based on small-scale fisheries, and those fisheries provide the primary source of protein and income for many of these communities. In fact, for some, they provide the sole source of income. So I believe that Africa is already realising much of its potential in terms of small-scale fisheries. Where perhaps there's room for growth is in aquaculture, if it's done in a sustainable way, in a way that doesn't impinge on those crucial small-scale fisheries, and in a way that's community-led, so that it recognises the needs of coastal communities throughout Africa and addresses those needs and empowers people to engage in those aquaculture activities themselves, and ensures that the benefits of aquaculture go back into those communities.